Hello and welcome, free enterprise enthusiasts, to a Highway to the Threemus Zone playoff race between slippery42 and xPankraz. I am Kobahi, one of your commentators, and I am joined by LM Motas.
Hey there, everybody. We're happy to bring you this number 16 seed versus number 17 seed tonight with our Restreamer Smapety and Trekker Aegis in the wings. Looks like we've got some interesting StarCraft-themed names on Slippery's side.
Yeah, definitely. So interesting to see if Pankraz has something coming up for us now. But as we are sitting here, we do see the objectives sitting on the screen, and we have, quite the set in front of us that need to be completed.
Yeah, I definitely always like to see at least one moon objective in the rotation in these flags, because it kind of guarantees you're either going to have to exhaust the Earth and Underground looking for the Legend and Adamant, or you're going to have to actually go to the moon and have the party power to clear some moon bosses.
We also get the exciting news that Edward is our starting character, so being forced to use an Edward here, we'll see if we maybe get some Edward strats, but I feel like with these objectives, we're probably going to get some levels, so...
Oh yeah, for sure. We have the perma-join flag on, and the initial character is the only one that you don't get the choice whether to take or not. So unfortunately, one of our 5 party slots is definitely going to be taken up by Edward here, and with no spoon flag, he's still useful in a few niche situations, but not kind of the general use that he would normally be.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to assume that some of these people, these two aces might actually be hoping for that Legend Sword and Adamant. Launching the Falcon or completing the Sealed Cave aren't always the most fun objectives, but we'll see what our runners are given and where they have to go.
Yeah, I myself hope for a Magma Key to be found early, and then for the hook that they need to launch the Falcon to be buried on the moon.
My hope is as it always is, and that required Mist Dragon is hidden somewhere spicy.
Everybody likes that spicy D-Mist.
Yeah, not too much to go over. There are 3 other races going on tonight. We'll probably be joined by some of them after, but we do see the runners starting off. So we are going to see what the option of a second character is here. It's Iridium. Ooh, that is a low HP buddy.
Yeah, luckily we have free characters on, so most likely what you're going to see from both players is to check just to see what kind of party they have available here in the overworld. We do get the pan, so that's going to be some extra free checks once we do get that underground access.
Yeah, so the pan is definitely nice for, cutting off extra trips once you can use it, but, for now it's just an item in their inventory that they're, both of them taking solo Edward are not going to be able to use.
Yeah, we do have a lot of character checks here. Some are gated by bosses, like on Hobbs, but the others are not gated by anything. So you can get the double check in Mysidia, you can get the waterway check and get some treasure while you're there. And it looks like both runners opting for that waterway check first. Yeah,
definitely looking for characters. Going to be probably opening as many chests as they can. I'm going to be guessing both. I'm going to be hoping for a Dancing Dagger really quickly, but...
Sylph's not a bad pickup if you decide to take that Rydia. You can really help you boost in the early and mid game, especially since as long as you don't keep your Rydia in the middle slot, it doesn't actually cost you any MP.
Yeah, it's definitely quite the option. We do see a Palom here, and it looks like Slippery not going to be committing to any characters yet. I didn't see if Pankraz took them. It does look like Pankraz did pick up that Palom, so a little bit of divergence, but I feel like Slippery is just waiting to see what's all available to him and before he actually decides what he's going to take.
Yeah, the table flags have definitely been incentivizing mage parties, and Palom is pretty much the premier option. So I gotta think that Slippery will be taking that Palom either now or later, perhaps saving him to slingshot him later.
Yeah, we see a little divergence. Slippery heading into the town to check some shops. Maybe the character was Pankraz has decided to do some extra looting here. in the back of the waterfall cave.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see a lot more looting out of both of these players than normal, just because this party power availability is very low, and we need some good weapons to kind of bail us out here in the early game.
Yeah, it looks like we do see an extra Palom in the bed in here, so a Sand Ruby is another access to another coveted Black Mage, but
yeah, our players are definitely going to be ideally wanting at least 2 characters that have access to nuke in their final party. So because of permajoin, it's not like they can take the physical attackers now to get them through the early game and then take the mages later. They have to make some decisions here coming up quite quickly.
Yeah, and we do see, with that extra looting, in the bottom of Damsian Castle, there was a coast ring. So definitely a very useful item for manipulating agility and speeds and everything. So FF4FE is going to be happy with that. We'll see if Slippery comes here and picks it up too.
Bonus Sylph there in Damsian Castle in the YOLO chest there. That's going to be an extra stack of money because both runners already have Sylph. We do see Yang as a character here as well.
Not really surprised to see FF4FE tone down that Yang. I feel like the mage strats have been the primary ones for these stable seeds, with usually going for a crazy level boost if you find Tella and access to that darkness crystal.
Yeah, we've had 2 things that kind of disincentivize berserker parties. Ooh, Moon Sparkle there. FF4FE waits long enough to see it's the D-Lunars. But as I was saying about berserker parties, first off, Cecil is not a very appealing option thanks to vanilla agility being on. Even if you find some holy swords, he can be quite the liability for you. And secondly, here in the table flags, Bacchus wines are going to be next to impossible to find. So that's kind of an enabling item for berserker teams, and without it, it becomes a lot harder to actually get a Quint Zerker strat offline.
Yeah, we do see Slippery also going to be seeing those D-Lunars probably resetting, whereas we have another Palom and a Sid here in Mysidia. I wouldn't be surprised to see that other Palom picked up.
Yeah, I definitely like to see here. We have seen a lot of runners waiting and keeping their party spots open in order to slingshot some mages later, but I actually like filling your party here, especially with that Sid as kind of a buffer. High HP, a decent attack power, even with the initial equipment, can really float you through the early game until those Paloms get Quake, and then the mid game is all over.
Yeah, we do see FF4FE only picking up the extra Palom. That does actually give him access to the twin spell, even though it's 2 of the same twins. So still a very useful damage early, considering that Stouting Edward we were forced with.
Yeah, I would definitely think our runners are at least going to pick up 1 Black Mage each and get some levels on that Black Mage. The second level Black Magic is really what they're looking for at this point, now that their hunt for good equipment is kind of striking out. So we see, there's another Cursed Ring in Antlion Cave. FF4FE going to Antlion Cave. Slippery, meanwhile, going to Ordeals. Maybe going to just check the character, but maybe going up to check the boss as well. We have Dark Knight Cecil on Ordeals.
I feel like that's going to be another no, and with only an Edward, not even going to go check those bosses right now. Solo Edward, unless it's like an evil wall that you can immediately hide on, is not going to be your greatest character.
Oh, you mean harps aren't effective against bosses?
I think I've had an Edward doing 500 damage with like level 60 something before with a hope.
Speaking of damage, we get a Bahamut here, and the twin spell is going to be necessary, but gets through it then. Lucky Flare, 1 turn, gone.
Ooh, another Edward sitting in Baron, and so yeah, looking like the plethora of Paloms being the best available things we have, with a possible Sid for a tank if they want it.
FF4FE finds a tower key from Antlion, so once again, another key item in hand that's only going to pay off once we get the underground access.
Yeah, Slippery finding some extra Star Veils in Baron, picking up a 5 stack of those, just always useful item to have. And as we imagine, doing some extra looting here that I don't see that often in these flag sets. It's just looking for the extra equipment, the extra money to be able to take this Edward and whatever you pick up through the game.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of players in the past go for the Barren Forest and even the Barren Waterfall sometimes at the beginning of the game, especially in like more lucrative treasure sets. But you can tell how desperate Slippery is for some good items here because those checks aren't great under this flag set.
Now we do have Iridia with, it looks like, Mylon and Friends on the top of Mount Hobbs here, so I think he's going to take this out to get some level 2 spells on his 2 Palums here, but not picking up that Iridia.
That's exactly my thoughts on it as well. Even if you don't want the character at Hobbs, the experience can be pretty valuable, especially in a situation like this where you really desperately need some offensive power for your party.
Yeah, it looks like Slippery has decided to take one of those Palums. It looks like, no, was thinking about taking one of those Iridias to use that Sylph and maybe the Odin he found with, but looks like he's going to pick up Yang here? No, he can't decide.
Back and forth. Wow. Okay.
So he does take the Sid.
Yeah, Sid is better in the early game, but I mean, the good thing about Yang is you don't have to look for equipment for him, really. He's just fine without anything. Of course, you know, some agility boosting equipment's always wanted and some nice claws, but he can do damage in the end game with nothing at all.
Yeah, my guess for Slippery here is he's taking the Sid for the early game. He knows he has access to a second Palom and some Iridias that he can slingshot later, so he's going to be worried about getting through this early game until he gets access to some sort of grind or something along those lines.
Yeah, at this point, now that we've seen a couple of nuke options, what our players are really looking for is a Tella and like a nice white mage. And we haven't seen either of those yet in the free spots. So we're running out of places where they can find Tella. Tella, of course, being very popular because once you complete ordeals, he gets the weak spell, which can be used in the kind of infinite summon enemy grinds, which we have seen be so popular in these flags.
Yeah, we do have Pankraz in for Bull, going to take out this key item check. He did find dancing daggers in the shop, so his Edward can actually dish out a few hundred damage now. He bought some extras for the twins in case he wants to use them, but I feel like he's probably just going to keep twinning with those for now, or using those level 2 spells he got access to.
I feel like a Slippery taking Sid already is going to pay off in a big way here in Antline because there is a Rune Axe in Antline Cave. That's going to be real nice on Sid.
Yeah, we can see with a nice trick with the double Palums that you can bluff the one in the higher tier spot and then use twin, and then the bluff damage from that first twin actually gets put into the twin spell.
Yeah, never underestimate twin. It boosts the magic stat a lot, and just a defense sword from that Fabul defense though.
Yeah, so definitely not a key item. It's a nice sword if you end up taking a Cecil or a Kane. Probably not worth taking one Cecil over with the agility flags, but you never know. Could end up just being some money.
Yeah, I don't know who would be a better option here. I mean, you do have to deal with the vanilla agility if you have Cecil, but cover is not a no value skill. It can be quite the lifesaver in a lot of situations.
I'm definitely on the. I like Cecil in my party. He definitely does have some benefits. If you can control his agility, he actually is a very strong character if you get the equipment for him.
Meanwhile, Slippery doesn't have the twin spell to power through this Bahamut, but swinging away with Sid gets through it just as fast.
Yeah, it looks like he also found a dancing dagger for his Edward too, so between that Sid, the dancing dagger, and some other things, pretty easy dispatching of an easy boss location. And he gets the tower key for himself out of here. And
Pankraz is now at the top of ordeals and is showing us a moon sparkle for the first boss. Now, we've already seen the D-Lunars, so we get another moon boss out of the way here, which is Ogopogo. Extremely nice to see Ogopogo this early in the game.
Yeah, could be a little interesting of a boss with these characters. It's been so long. Does Dancing Dagger set off the magic? It does. So he just blazed himself by throwing a Dancing Dagger.
Yeah, that's an oof. And with no white mage available, it's not like it's very important that Pankraz gets through this battle before the waves start coming again.
Yeah, starts throwing Q2s. Looks like luckily Twin does not set off that flag, so he should be in a pretty good spot throwing out those Q2s with Edward now. And another Twin should probably take care of this.
Yeah, Ogo Pogo can be nasty if you get it at a high physical attacking spot as well, but it looks like Twin doing the work there. Down goes this Ogo Pogo.
Yeah, probably just a little scared after using that initial Dancing Dagger, but, you know, in the back row, that the physical attack of that spot was so low that the rest of it didn't matter.
Well, we get Rubicon in the back attack spot on Ordeals. This is you got to play this right.
Why play it white when you can just bluff Twin? Just keep that glare though. Ooh.
Yeah, that's the thing. You know you're going to take at least one glare per cloak open. So you really you have to be timing everything nicely, and you have to be keeping your party up. Luckily, Pankraz does have some more Cure 2s and has life potions already.
Yeah, we did see Slippery also get through the Fabul battle of the Octobomb, not putting out much of a fight, especially with that Sid. And we'll see if Pankraz can get through this Rubicon fight and see where Slippery ends up going next. Ooh, gets a nice damaging flare off, 2100 damage.
Yeah, and keep in mind, these twins don't have that many levels on them yet, so, I mean, they can be deceptively powerful.
Yeah, I mean, he's gotten a couple bluffs off on each of them at different points. Just chucking that Dancing Dagger with Edward. The spot shouldn't have much life left, so hopefully another Dancing Dagger or so will take it out, or if he can get another spell off with his twins. And there we go. We see the disintegrating Rubicon and the two bosses of Ordeals.
If Pankraz has got to be feeling pretty good now. He's handled all of the bosses so far very easily, has the right strategies hooked up for his party. Everything's going pretty well here for him.
Yeah, no fear at all. Just going to head straight into this key item and third boss spot. So we'll see what he gets here and which boss is going to be behind him.
Yeah, I like this play. He hasn't saved on Ordeals at all, and at this stage of the tournament, when a lot of matches have been determined by mere minutes, that's great. And, of course, gets paid off with the Magma Key as well.
So that opens up so much. He has underground access. Ooh, Mom Bomb in this spot's a little annoying just because of the extra health add-on, but it still shouldn't be too much of an issue for him. But with that Magma Key, you have underground access. You have the freebie check in the Feymarch. You can check the bosses. You have the Pan. That is 3 more checks, so...
Yeah, and depending on what's found there, I mean, 4 free checks as soon as you get down there is really, really nice at this stage of the game. It will give you a lot of options going forward depending on what you find there.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting fact, we do have a Launch the Falcon objective, so, you know, with the Magma Key looking like the primary way down to the underground, that hook could be hiding anywhere now. That could be an interesting point out for, you know, having to get the hook. There's a moon objective. There's a sealed cave objective. Like, these objectives are not free in any sense.
Oh, yeah, and just playing the odds here, there are 7 boss key item checks on the moon. And that's a beefy amount of checks for one of your... I mean, because we need a Luca key still. We need the Legend Sword and Adamant. We need the hook, and any of that could be hiding nowhere close. It could all be on the moon for all we know.
Oh, I just saw Slippery get into the Ogre Boga fight. He almost threw that dancing dagger, and he realized, oh, that's a magic attack, and just physically attacked with that move here.
Things you don't see every day for 500.
Oh, no, there's the dancing dagger.
Oh, the Cid barely lives. 2 HP and a miss.
Ooh, another miss. He's throwing out a lit too, hoping to finish him off here, I think. Because if not, that blaze counterattack. Oh, that's a weak counterattack.
Yeah, the crazy thing, the developers of this game wanted the moon bosses to feel like big challenges, so they gave them custom counter scripts for a lot of different situations. And wow, 1 damage only. Oh,
no,
slippery.
92 damage. 84 damage isn't enough. A miss. Oh no, there's the reset.
Yeah, that just goes to show having both twins is really helping Pankraz out here, because he didn't really have to struggle with the Ogopogo at all. It took 2 twin casts and it was gone.
We did see Pankraz manage to pick up some silk webs in the Magma Key town that I can never remember the name of.
Agart.
Agart, that's the one. Yeah, managed to find some silk webs in there, so definitely a useful item to have, especially for the Threemus fight.
Pankraz playing the odds here and going to the most lucrative free check first in the form of the Sylph Cave.
Yeah, wanting to get the value of that pad immediately. I mean, he gets 1 check here off the Sylphs. We'll see what he gets here, and then 2 Sheila checks. Ooh, the Luca key.
Ooh, starting to look like this pan was required then.
Well, it's a lucky thing it was given to them at the very beginning of the game. I feel like once underground, that'll be something that Slippery checks pretty quickly anyways, so...
Yeah, I mean, there's pretty much zero danger that Slippery will fade that check. Ooh, Pankraz gets Spicy Siren there, linked with a coffin that was found earlier as well. That means if he needs a few levels on his mage for those upper level spells, he could do a little quick egg here with that 1-2 punch.
No, that would be probably something I would definitely do. A little infusion of experience, getting some spells would really help you get through some of these, early underground spots and whatever. I guess the Baron Inn of the overworld, but definitely a nice thing to see in these flags when sirens are very rare to see.
We're still looking for Tella too, so our preferred EXP grinds are not confirmed to be available yet. A ribbon from the free Feymarch chest, that's not too shabby.
Hey, if the preferred grind ends up being door grind, that ribbon is very nice. I mean, it's nice to begin with, but...
That is good to already know. Like, if you're a runner and you haven't seen Tella yet, you know you're only likely to see 2 more character checks at Dwarf Castle and in the Lunar Palace. Knowing that you have that Luca key already in your back pocket to enable a door grind is good information to have as far as your planning.
Yeah, we do see Odin and the elements, as we know where Rubicante is, down in the Feymarch.
Yeah, I'm real scared of that Odin in the King spot. That will not be challenged by either of our runners, I don't think, unless they absolutely have to.
Yeah, immediately running out. Probably going to go finish off that pan now. We may see that egg being scrambled, but we do have Slippery making it through that Rubicon fight, so it's going to get their Magma Key, fight off a Mom Bomb, and then probably head to the underground as well.
There goes Pankraz on a little mini peninsula of power here. Well, actually decides to take off.
I'm wondering if he's wanting to pick up somebody like the Cid right now as for a tank, or what his plan is here before he actually uses that egg. Maybe checking to see if there's another Palom here. Nope, there's the reset.
Goodbye, Edward number 2. You will not be used.
Yeah, so my guess is he was just checking to see if there was a free character that he wanted there before he uses up this one siren he was given.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty heads up. He had the save there, so he could just save scum it. Very nice. Pankraz, I guess, not having found the same coffin that Slippery found, so is having to bluff up Palom's here in order to make sure that he doesn't get a nasty counterattack and get killed by this egg.
Yeah, just lining up the 2 viruses should take care of it, shouldn't get attack off. He also killing off that Edward, not wanting it to get any extra levels here, so only wants the experience on these 2 twins. That should be enough to get him Quake, yes. So that is double Quake Kid now.
Yeah, just goes to show you might think 1 siren isn't enough, but actually that's exactly how we see it used a lot of the time, is to get Quake onto Palom ASAP.
Yeah, and with that, he knows he saw the dolls here with an Edward. We're probably going to be seeing... Yeah, he's probably just going to immediately go in. 1 Quake will take care of the dolls. Two Quakes will take care of pretty much anything that could be after that.
Yeah, having seen Edward, Pankraz is probably thinking, this check wasn't very incentivized, but there's still a key item here, so this could be kind of a meta play, thinking, oh, my opponent probably faded this because who wants a second Edward?
Yeah, well, Slippery's making his way off the mountain, probably going to go turn in that magma key. We'll see if Slippery finds that siren too, because it's a little hidden away. Not everyone loots that cave. Well, it looks like, oh, it's the Kaipo guards are hiding behind.
Oh, what a shame for them.
So I mentioned 2 Quakes, might not even need 2, because 1's going to take out all the guards, and that back officer is not long for this world with that virus.
These 5-year-olds have got Quake.
I mean, their babysitter, Bard, isn't doing a very good job just lying on the floor, letting these kids sling magic around. Ooh, an Earth Crystal.
We might not see this checked right away, but it does unlock the Troya Armory, which isn't nothing. Our party is not going to be as gear dependent as a melee party would be, but there are still a lot of items that could help this party out in that Troya Armory.
Yeah, I mean, with Quake, the bosses in that area aren't that bad if they want to try and round out their party with... I'm gonna guess he wants maybe a Rosa just for... I mean, if you can get 4 nukes, you don't need it, but... Maybe even looking for that Tella to be able to get that grind on eventually.
Yeah, and there are 2 characters at the Tower of Zot, so it's not nothing. I mean, it is a longer check because there's 2 boss battles and also like some cutscenes, but it's not the longest check out there by any means.
Yeah, it looks like his next decision is to finally turn in those Sheila checks, whereas we see Slippery right now just going down to hit Yang with that ban.
Sheila 1 looks like is going to get on the 3rd Sylph we've seen today, and Sheila 2's just a power shirt, so sorry fans, Sheila does not have the goods today.
Yeah, I mean, hitting Yang with the pan is still good. We did get that Luca key there, so pan still technically possibly required. I mean, that sealed cave could be the one thing you don't do, but I mean, when you're giving a pan right away, you're gonna turn that in.
Yeah, so all we need is a Darkness Crystal and a Hook right now, and we could be... Just those 2 items will enable us to complete the seed. Whether it would be what our runners actually want is another question.
Ooh, Slippery does not loot the chest that siren's in, so he's not going to get that infusion of experience if he wanted it. Pankraz is going to loot that armory, so we are going to get to do a fun little game here.
Time to rate that treasury. I see some bows, Dragoon armors, nice for Sid. Another ribbon, coffin, Zeus gauntlets. So nice for whatever your physical attacker is going to be, but not much for the mages there.
Yeah, so for Pankraz's party, probably not that happy about it. I mean, his Zeus Gauntlet's not very useful to him. The second ribbon is nice if you do end up going with that door grind. And the Lunar Staff is only going to be useful if you find one of those white mages. So there's potential there. I think if Slippery gets in there and loots that armory, he might find it a lot more useful. I mean, after those Sheila checks, he's going to have, what, a Power Robe Zeus Gauntlet Sid?
Yeah, and Dragoon armor if he wants to use it over the power shirt.
I mean, that does require him to tone in the pan for the power and then do that Baron in as well. Whereas it looks like Pankraz is just going through with this Zot, maybe looking for those characters, looking for that Tella, trying to finish out his party, look for that Darkness Crystal, get that infusion of levels, and then destroy the Vanilla Ribbon Room eventually.
Yeah, I think this is a good play when you haven't found Tella yet in this flag set. You can't really leave a double character check on the table, in my opinion.
No, I mean, he's pretty much already committed to a mage team with picking up 2 Palams right away. He wants that Tella, he wants to be able to grind, he wants to get to nuke.
Here we go. We get the first boss check here in the tower, which would normally be Magus Sisters, is another Lunar Sparkle. So nice for our runners to see so many of these on the planet, but unfortunately it's Wyvern.
Is he fast enough to get... Ooh, looks like he was fast enough. He at least got the Starveil on Edward. But apparently doesn't want that. He did kill off his Edward for that Siren. He may be wanting to keep him a lower level. Not sure if the magic power at this Mega Sister spot is strong enough for one reflected Mega Nuke to kill off Wyvern, which might have been why he immediately reset as well.
Yeah, I think he was just wanting to make sure that the twins were alive. So you see when he came back, he turned his battle speed down, and that helped him get those Starveils off on all of his characters to make sure the twins still get experience for this fight.
Yeah, but those 3 reflected Mega Nukes, Wyvern goes down right away, so... a good adaptation for the battle speed, getting all of his characters in there, and getting past that Wyvern.
No saving, and we do find Edge. Wow, this is a rare find now that we're in the table flags, and I don't know if Pankraz is going to take him because, as we've said, he's kind of committed to a mage party for Zeromus at this point. But Edge enables a lot. It would have been nice to find him earlier, but because of the way the flags are set, you need a key item to get Edge.
Yeah, definitely can be a strong character. Ooh, another... Is that the 3rd Rydia now?
Yeah, that's Rydia number 3. The old man still hiding. No Tella in sight.
Looks like he does say yes to Edge there, so taking the ninja into his party, probably going to be taking that power shirt off the boat here. Yeah, there it goes. I'm not sure if... Oh, he has the Zeus Gauntlet too. I'm not sure if he has many weapons for him. A dancing dagger is slightly better than a short sword, so...
Yeah, I mean, this kind of makes sense for Pankraz because you do want at least one physical character in your party to kind of help you get through bosses that are kind of tricky for mages, and also to soak some hits. And since Pankraz didn't take Sid earlier, Edge can deal more damage than Sid, but has less HP.
He is probably very happy he took Edge right now. He was able to hit through that tornado for 800 damage, so he's probably really happy with his decision at this point in time. So
yeah, and there's a lot of situations where this Edge can also throw weapons that are pretty much useless since we don't have like a regular sword user.
Yeah, I mean, in the Zorba's fight, if you're committed to a mage party too, he's not bad, as he can get off of some of that early damage with throwing those weapons, and then stopping so you can get the reflect kill without resetting the health pool. So
Yeah, out of all the melee fighters, he has the worst HP growth, which makes it hard for him to survive full roll big bangs, especially if you're not grinding as much, if you manage to get some mage slingshots in. But
big doll. Oh, but it's a big doll in the first spot, so it doesn't matter.
Goodbye, Calbrena.
Yeah, Valvalis keeps weakening Edge here, but with those Cure 2 potions, not much of a problem.
Yeah, as long as you can hit Valvalis in her tornado form, it's almost better for you that she stays that way, because she only punches once per sequence in tornado form. Whereas if you start getting, like if you had Kane here to jump her out of it, she punches every time she comes out of tornado form. And since the punch is the only thing that can actually kill you in this fight, it can be a liability at lower levels where her punch, or at spots where her punch is actually hitting you really hard.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit more trouble on Slippery's side because he doesn't have the double twin, but still makes it through those Baron invites. Gonna get his Earth Crystal. Gonna be able to say no to another Edward. And Valvalis also going down on Xpankraz's side, so that Edge already paying off to get him through this fight.
Yeah, that makes me very interested to see what Slippery does if he goes the same route here, because I do not think Slippery really... I think it would be a liability for him to take another physical attacker. So it'll be interesting to see what he does when he sees that Edge.
Yeah, committing 2 people to physical attacks when you have an Edward sitting in your party and you only have a black mage, no white mage, no Tella, could be interesting to see what he does. Ooh. So we get the hook out of the Tower of Zod here, so that opens up objective number 4 to launch the Falcon.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Xpankraz try to do that, because he's already got like some levels from that Siren, and the hook route is not going to give him as much trouble as it would have if it had been the way that we got underground initially.
Looks like he's making a play instantly for the sealed cave.
Checking your objectives first is a very, very popular tactic.
And when I saw him coming to the underground, I half thought he was going to go to Dwarf Castle for that other character check. I mean, there is a character check on that hook route as well, so looks like he's more concerned about the objectives here than anything. Not even worrying about these initial doors, as if there'll be enough later that he can grind on if he needs. Just wants to check what's down here.
Yeah, I like this. You could get some extra experience. You can know if there's another key item like a Darkness Crystal, which we are pretty much desperately seeking at this point for Xpankraz. And then if it doesn't pay off, at least you got the objective done.
I mean, a Darkness Crystal at this point would put us pretty much into go. It would put us into go mode, as he would have access to his 3 objectives. Although maybe not the grind he wants yet.
Yeah. The good news for Xpankraz is that there are still 3 more character checks. Well, 4 if you count the one in the Giant of Babel, which we're very unlikely to see. But if Tella's not at one of those, then we're going to have to get creative as to how we gain levels on these mages.
We do get a package, so there's another character check in this cave. We actually saw a Flame Dog chest on Slippery, only getting him a Leviathan summon, so, I mean, another reason to maybe pick up Iridia, but I at this point, I doubt we'll see that. Oh my. It is a free boss. Well, presuming you can get the hits in.
Heads up from Xpankraz there, making sure to use the rod as an item so that it's a guaranteed hit.
No, yeah, definitely a good play. Needs to get 2 more of these hits in. Doesn't look like the attack is too high here, so shouldn't have too much of a problem. Gets the second hit in, and it should be a pretty easy fight here. So a great play by Xpankraz, getting an objective done and getting a little infusion of experience here as well.
Yeah, and the good thing is you can peek the character at the package before you have to actually do the cutscene and the fight. So if it's not Tella, you can basically just nope out, not go somewhere else.
Slippery getting the rude news that this is a wyvern fight in the beginning of the tower here, so. Whereas Pankraz has finished off that objective number 3, completing the sealed cave. Not the easy one of just opening it, but you know, he got it done in pretty good fashion here.
Oh yeah, Wyvern showing he is always a threat.
Yeah, I didn't see if he lowered the battle speed or put a coastering on Sid here, but he is getting a stow veil off. Looks like just one on the Palom here. Not quite enough damage to take out the Wyvern. We'll see if he can get his party members back up to deal that little bit more damage.
Yeah, and the most important question is, once this battle is over, will Slippery remember to change the battle speed back from battle speed 6 to battle speed 1? You do not want to be doing the rest of the game on Wyvern standard time.
No, that could definitely cost you a lot of time. He gets a virus off, gets an attack with Sid, still hasn't taken out this Wyvern, deflecting viruses off that wall. Hopefully this hits. Ooh, that nuke's probably going to take out. Yeah. And we see another reset out of Slippery here on this Wyvern fight. Causing him a bit more trouble. Was only able to get the one stow veil off, so.
We've got Flurry14 in chat checking out the potential future competition. We see you, Flurry.
Yeah, so far we have not seen a white mage. We have not seen a Tella. We have seen a Yang, a Sid, and an Edge. We've seen 3 Paloms and 3 Rydias? And a Cecil?
Yeah, I think that's right.
I think Pankraz is checking out the weapon shop there, maybe looking for a slight upgrade for edge weapons here. We do see Slippery back in this Wyvern fight, has changed the order of his party up. Gets 1 stow veil. We'll see if he can get the second one off. I think the second would... Ooh, not quite.
And here comes Pankraz picking up the hovercraft. It's time to at least check which character is here in Cave Evelyn. And of course, the Cave Evelyn shop is no slouch itself. I always say never skip the Cave Evelyn shop.
Yeah, and probably go all the way through to launch that Falcon for objective number 4 as well. Getting him 2 of those objectives down and, you know, either a Darkness Crystal or a building of the Excalibur to get him through. Ooh, coast rings for sale. I believe we've already seen 2 of those, so...
Yeah, we see Pankraz not super interested in the out-of-the-way treasure chest here. Is just getting through. Probably going to be not seeing too much more looting from him for the rest of the seed at this point.
Yeah, I saw him pick up a couple of Mute Knights. Those are actually a decent upgrade for Edge, and they have the added benefit of being mage killers if he finds, I guess, Mega Sisters or the Baron Ingard or Ashura or, oh my god, it's another Edward. Oh, and that is the Fabul Gauntlet, isn't it?
I see a blue robe, and we've already seen Water Hag. So, yeah, I think that's the gauntlet. And since launching the Falcon is one of our objectives, we're very likely to actually have to fight it.
Yeah, so that's definitely going to be interesting. The fights down here I don't think are that bad, and it'll be a nice little infusion of experience for him, but...
It hurts when you see your third Edward of the Seed, and then the ult gauntlet is going to be sitting in your way as well.
I mean, we've seen so 3 Paloms, 3 Rydias, 3 Edwards, and a smattering of melee characters.
And always good to note that Edge's actual name is also Edward, so, you know. He hits a bit harder than the other Edward, though.
We see Slippery in this Wyvern fight. He is in nuke mode, so he is getting lives off and keeping his pony alive. Just not getting as lucky being able to get that damage in as much as he wants. Looks like every time he tries to either reflect something or throw something, that is the character that is getting nuked right now.
That board face AI knows just who you need. At this point, I might start swinging with Sid if I had the opportunity. Man, Edward goes down again.
We do have Pankraz about to see what the King and Queen Eblon spot is here. We do know that the Fabul Gauntlet's behind it. Looks like the Baron Guards, and he has double Mute Knife Edge with Power Rope Zeus Gauntlet.
Time for these guards to go down.
Oh yeah, and 2 Quake Kids. They hit very hard, at least on Edward. Not so much on the lower Palom there, but...
Yeah, you know, we've seen a good amount of the free bosses already, but we've also seen a good amount of the harder bosses, so it's been a good mix, kind of ensuring for our players that the moon isn't going to be too difficult, but it's also not going to be too easy either.
Yeah, we did see Slippery get through that Wyvern fight, so I was about to go see that Edge and another Rydia into that Valvulus fight. Well, we do have Pankraz entering the Alt Gauntlet. Egg.
Yeah, so if you're a little confused about what's happening, the Alt Gauntlet flag changes the Fabul Gauntlet boss to enemies that are available in the same area as the boss spot in which it appears. So these are all going to be enemies from the upper Tower of Babel that we're going to see in sequence in this battle.
Now we can see Slippery was kind of worried about, do I take this Edge? He actually takes the Rydia, so gonna use the Sylph, probably the Leviathan he also saw, and that Odin.
I don't hate it. Slippery still has the opportunity to be able to slingshot this Rydia, so I might consider keeping her dead until you find a grind fight. Now, of course, if we never find a Tella, the slingshots become way less valuable because you can only do it with one enemy rather than like the infinitely respawning enemies.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how much damage his Sid can do to this Valvulus here.
Yeah, because for those who have joined us after, Pankraz had Edge at this point, and he was doing the lion's share of damage to this Valvulus, whereas Slippery has a Sid instead, who immediately gets weaked. Of course, it's like she knows who has the most HP. Ramalama Ding Dong in chat suggesting Mac Giants. Well, the problem is, I mean, the Mac Giant grind is a possibility. It's set up in a very similar way to the D Machine grind, but we haven't really seen any great ogre or like giant killing weapons yet. Slippery does have Sid, but you need some extra levels in order to survive the Mac Giants. Like, it takes more setup and is way more risky than D Machines.
Interestingly, Sid is doing more damage to Valvulus than that Edge was. I guess it's very variable with the axe. So the Edge was doing around 800 every time. Sid has done 400 and 1200. So it looks like it's averaging out to be about the same.
Pankraz through the bosses has gone through the pitfall and will be getting Objective 4 completed here in just a moment.
Yeah, so he's definitely, I'm going to guess, going to probably make a quick tower play with that tower key, that being 2 checks. All you need is the Darkness Crystal, or actually, I guess at this point, still the Darkness or Pass to make it to Threemus. And then just the Darkness for the Living Room and the double piece for the Forge.
Yeah, and I'm interested that neither player has gone to Dwarf Castle to even try to see who the character is there. I guess they're kind of just giving up on the Tell a Life dream and are going to try to do this in another way.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what a final pody member for each of these podies might end up being. I mean, right now they're both double black mage, yet separate black mages, a melee character, and obviously that's Starting Edward.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we haven't seen Tella or a white mage yet makes it... Any Threemus fight is going to be pretty risky because we can't stack enough nuke casters in our party to make it 100% safe, thanks to the Starting Edward and the fact that both players took an additional melee character already.
Yeah, I mean, if it ends up, I don't know, if they somehow end up getting both the Adamant and Legend without getting too high of a level, we could see some low-level strats, but I mean, the options on the Earth are very limited at this point. I mean, this tower and Dwarf Castle being the only kind of lowish level ones left.
Oof, a Baigan at the top of the tower shouldn't be a problem for Pankraz at this point with a double Quake online, but if he had come here right away, this would have been a big issue.
Definitely. And a little bit of trouble, but Slippery does get through that Valveless fight. We do also welcome the Randomania stream rating us. Do keep in mind, try not to spoil the race that you just came from, as some of the people here may not have seen it. So yeah, Slippery getting that hook, knowing that he has 2 objectives he can complete now. We'll see what he decides to do at this point.
Very heads up on the Silk Web for Baigan. Part of the big threat of Baigan at other boss locations is he is quite fast, and the arms attack quickly because all they do is just attack every single turn they get. And it can really put a damper in your party, especially if you don't have a lot of physical defense, which neither of these parties have.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he can wait for the arms to respawn here and line up a Quake for them. But looks like he's also just throwing those out as fast as he can to try and get rid of Baigan here.
Yeah, I mean, this spot has a decent amount of HP, but because of the way split targeting works and the fact that Baigan has his arms, it's not going to take too long to get through Baigan here. Ideally, all 3 go down at the same time so you don't get the arms exploding at you. But either way, Pankraz is going to be pretty safe.
Yeah, we do see Slippery making that play for the hook route. Is looking like he's looting some chests here. He also does find vampires in the shop. I don't believe Pankraz actually checked the item shop here, so.
I'm interested to see, of course we know the bosses are pretty tame here at the hook route, but Slippery also hasn't gone to the Luca Cave yet, so has quite a bit to do to catch up with Pankraz.
Yeah, Pankraz taking the double Palom pretty much off the start of this. I think he saved him a lot of time and trouble on some of these bosses that we've seen Slippery struggle a little more on, yet still getting through very adamantly so. And Baigan goes down. Well, the arms go down. He was already down. And we only get a strength ring, and not even caring about the experience, just really setting out of that fight.
Ooh, that's pretty spicy considering we still haven't found Tella. Like, experience might actually be super valuable by the end of this seed.
And I probably just wanted to save the time healing, figured, you know, I'll just fight some moon stuff if that's what I end up doing. But heading into the tower room here, I believe this is Mylon Z, as we saw Mylon and friends earlier.
Who gave the Earth Fiend a cannon?
We see Slippery here in the hook route, sees another Edward, sees the blue rope. He, at this point, is hoping that is Water Hag, but he doesn't know that the Water Hag is hiding at the bottom of the sealed cave.
Oh no, the Alt Gauntlet surprise. No resetting out of the tower key room, unfortunately. Pankraz has got to get all the way out before he sees what the key item actually is.
And it looks like, just going back to the save point here for Slippery. I was wondering if he's going to try and exit out, but with this being a key, an objective spot, definitely wants to make his way through.
Yeah, as we were stating before, we're kind of running out of checks. Like, the Feymarch bosses are too tough right now. They don't have a way to gain levels enough that would make an Odin at King spot possible. And we only really have Dwarf Castle down here because Pankraz has already checked that Earth Crystal and has now already checked the tower and the Luca Key. So we're running out of checks. So the Darkness Crystal has got to be somewhere.
Definitely. I mean, the Elements fight might be doable if you keep him in Mylon form. We do have the pass here from the tower, so we do have a way to Zeromus. It's just getting that last objective now. One of them is the way to Zeromus.
The only way we don't see the moon in the seed at this point is if we can somehow kill the Feymarch bosses and Dwarf Castle here, and 2 out of those 3 have the Legend Sword and the Adamant, or rabbit holes that lead to the Legend Sword and Adamant.
Yeah, it looks like we have a free boss behind the throne room. The King and Queen of Eblon are attacking the Dwarf Castle.
Remember, gang, every free boss we see here means one less possible free boss on the moon.
There's definitely some nasty bosses still waiting for us on the moon. Like, we haven't seen the likes of Kainazo. We have seen, Wyvern, Leviathan. Have we seen Dark Knight Cecil? Dark Knight Cecil could be hiding somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, the only moon bosses we know the locations are, if we saw Ogopogo, we saw D-Lunars, although we didn't have to fight them.
Yeah.
We saw Wyvern. We have not found Mist Dragon. We have not found Dark Knight Cecil. We have not found Golbez. These are fights that can be slogs. And also, I mean, Mist Dragon, of course, could have an item we need.
Definitely. I don't believe at this point Mist Dragon can be a block. We know, I think, all of the bosses on this overworld, unless this second boss, which is now a Lunar Spokel, was him. So, because if you're on the moon, we just have access to the Ribbon Room.
Ooh, yikes, a Cecil. That's going to be a no-go for Pankraz there. We find Plague here. That means that it looks like the only lunar boss unaccounted for is Pale Dim now.
Yeah, and I mean, with having 2 Quake kids, Pale Dim's not the worst thing in the world. And we can also see, I don't know if you noticed, on Slippery, he found the Mad Ogre chest, did that fight, and that is where his Palom finally got Quake. So we can see that finding that siren early in the Feymarch cave got Pankraz a huge boost to his twins to be able to get through these bosses.
Yeah, I mean, the risk reward is quite good in the Feymarch because there's only one trap chest, the warrior chest, and otherwise it's a great treasure density for your money there.
See, Slippery into this first fight. Gonna throw his coffin here on these Baron End guards.
Yeah, that's a shame. Slippery's only got 1 Quake caster, so this ult gauntlet's going to take him quite a bit longer than it took Pankraz.
Yeah, I mean, he does have Lydia now with, I believe, Odin and Leviathan. So he'll have a couple casts of those that he'll be able to use. And I did not catch what Pankraz got out of Dwarf Castle there.
It was a pink tail.
So, could be a high class item, but not what we're looking for. Though that does bring him to 9 key items, if I can count correctly.
Yeah, would have liked to see a rat tail instead, since it can lead to another key item. But pink tail, we're probably not going to see that turned in unless we see a rat tail to turn in at the same time. And thank you to RPG Limit Break. You're here for more free Enterprise action. Right now we've got Pankraz versus Slippery, and Pankraz has done quite a few more checks than Slippery at this point. Right now we're really searching for the Darkness Crystal on Pankraz's screen. He really needs that at this point.
Definitely, yeah. We saw FF4FE kind of take an early lead and kind of speed difference, picking up a double Palom, using Twin to a great advantage, and then using a Siren he found to give them both Quake. Yes. So yeah, we do have an Odin and an Elements fight waiting for us down here in the Feymarch, and I believe that's all we have left here. We haven't found the Twin Hope, we haven't found the Baron Key, so those aren't available yet, but...
Yeah, we did not have the package checked, so it's possible that Threemus is behind it, but otherwise, looks like we are going to have to fight these Feymarch bosses.
Oh, that is one I didn't account for, you are right. That Threemus hiding behind that package could be spicy.
I mean, you said you wanted Threemus buried somewhere interesting, right?
Yeah, looks like he's going to head into the Elements fight first. We do see Slippery actually making very good use of Rydia and Leviathan here to get through this alt gauntlet, so definitely a heads up by him to pick up that other Black Mage Summoner and using it to good effect.
Oof, those punches, too much. FF4FE had his spells lined up so that the first one would hit Mylon and hopefully the Ice 3 that was queued up afterwards would hit Rubicon coming next, but there's a lot of HP at this spot, so you're not going to be able to cheese it like you would be able to cheese the elements at a lower HP location, and those punches hurt. We have not seen anybody buy illusions yet, and of course we have no white mage to speak of, so blinks, which would be very useful here, are just not available to this party.
Yeah, I believe, looking at my notes here, I don't know if we've seen illusions yet, so yeah, definitely an interesting character and seed layout for us here, trying to make it through this Elements fight.
Yeah, once again, the Fire 3 followed by the Ice 3, trying to get the 1-2 punch on the first Elements, and 4 HP on that Palom.
He pretty much needs it to punch, just 10 over that time.
Yikes, this is a lot, because FF4FE has to get pretty lucky here as far as the targeting and the damage rolls, and after that he still has to be able to get at least one more round of spells off to kill this thing, and is deciding he doesn't have what it takes right now and heading out.
Yeah, we do see Slippery making his way through that old gauntlet, about to launch his Falcon here. Gonna take a quick load at the top of the tower is Baigan, but gonna be completing that objective 4 here soon. And we are joined by the Free Enterprise Raiders. So I believe we have all 3 of our previous races now here, watching this exciting race between FF4FE and Slippery.
Yeah, to give our new viewers the wrap up here, you see a lot of key items on FF4F's tracker, but he's actually checked all of those now. So the only locations available right now is perhaps if there is a Threemus behind the package, and then the Feymarch bosses, which he just went to and is now picking up another character to try to challenge again. Those bosses in the Feymarch are the Elements and Odin.
Yeah, interesting enough, he picks up the solo Cecil here, so possibly just going to be using him as an agility anchor for the rest of the game here. But we'll see what he does. Might be heading for some leveling here.
Yeah, unfortunately, Cecil is at level 1. Gets the curse ring, so we'll be doing some agility shenanigans here. I think is just trying to get his party fast enough to get the spells off on that Elements fight, and that's why we're taking this Malboro trap chest here.
Yeah, looks like he's not worried about Cecil getting some initial experience. You can get him up to that, I guess, level 45 pretty safely to get him that 28 agility mark and have him still have a decent amount of HP and be able to dish out some damage.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely see here through this choice how desperate FF4FE is, because he just filled his last party spot with a Cecil that he doesn't have a great weapon for, now he has to deal with vanilla agility. Hasn't actually gotten to see the character on the moon to see if it might be that white mage he's looking for, and now basically has had to commit to only having 2 nukers and no white mage for the final battle, just in order to be able to eke out some advantage in this Elements fight.
looks like, yeah, he has that defense sword, and that looks like about it for Cecil. Although that edge, has all the damaging gear you could ever want besides weapons.
Yeah, I have to think we're going to be seeing a defense sword Cecil covering the party in the hopes that it lets them survive long enough to get those spells off.
Yeah, it's definitely a good use of Cecil. Him in the back row with some defensive gear is very tanky. As we see Slippery making his way through the Free King Queen Eblon fight, going into that Plague, being given his choice of another Cecil here. No, doesn't want him.
Ground Flyer wondering in chat if that Cecil has a curse ring or not. I believe he does. I saw him put it on him for the Marlborough fight, and I don't think he took it off.
Yeah, he took it off the Edward and gave it to the Cecil here, so...
Yeah, there we go. Setting up that back row glitch so that Cecil can deal full damage from the back row while he's soaking the hits for the party.
Yeah, unfortunately doesn't have a shield for him, but... Oh, and leaving the Fame Ouch again? Looks like he's trying to get his into critical HP so that Cecil will auto-cover them. Probably going to be healing up only the Cecil here.
That's pretty heads up, because with your Cecil, of course, having the agility that he does here, deliberately sabotaged, he's not going to actually get a turn to deliberately cover, so you're going to have to rely on that auto cover. It does pick up that Aegis shield in the shop.
Not too shabby. Arguably one of the best shields in the game, considering the access to defenses it gives that other gear can't.
Slippery's in the Dwarf Castle now, and we see illusions for sale there. That will help. He grabbed 4 while he was there.
He also picks up an Ashura summon, so he now has the actual possibility to use that Rydia as his healer. That is a very nice find.
I mean, I really hate that to be the healing you rely on, but our runners don't have any other choice. There's really only one more character check that they're going to see. Also, I should note that Pankraz has now basically committed to no D-Machine grind, because even if Tella's on the moon, he can't take him.
Yeah, that is correct. He does, as we saw before, but with the Cecil, get the double spell strat off and takes out the elements there. Getting only a Sorcerer over his shovel, not the worst thing, but not what he's looking for.
Okay, so right now we're down to the wire. D-Mist behind the package has progression, or Odin down here at Leviathan spot has progression. That's it. One of them has got to have something for us.
And he's not even going to try the Odin.
Pankraz might be getting that sinking feeling here and be wanting to check that D-Mist, or just see what's available here. Maybe wanting some quick lightning damage items. Ground Flyer in chat asking, what was it, Luca? And it was an objective, and then we've also got a package from it, but no one's actually checked that package yet.
Yeah, and it was the Water Hag fight, so... Pankraz did go down there earlier and kind of got it for free.
Meanwhile, Slippery has been guided to the tower, where we're going to see this double check here. Nice to see Cure 3s, since we know at least Pankraz is not going to have a white mage at all. So we're going to see the physical attackers be acting as chemists in the Zeromus fight.
Yeah, it does pick up a couple of those illusions here. Looks like he may be making his way back to that Odin now. So yeah, heading back to the Feymochi, going to be taking on that Odin. We do see Slippery in that Baigan fight. Looks like casting up a Leviathan, casting up probably a Quake here. Oh, it's a Sylph. It's getting that healing out.
I do like to see the illusions deliberately picked up here for Pankraz, because Odin deals very quick physical damage, and then of course the Odin spell itself, the blinks won't help you, but if you can survive long enough to damage race him, this could work.
Yeah, definitely a good choice. Always still handy to have, especially with, you know, a looming, maybe difficult boss fight on the moon still waiting in that ribbon room, which is looking more and more likely with, you know, a limited number of key items left on the Earth, and, you know, Darkness Crystal still not being found.
Yeah, this seed is definitely being stingy with the normal tools that our runners would like to have by this point in the seed.
All right, we'll see how Odin goes here.
Yeah, Taven Games in chat mentioning Edward strats for this fight. Of course, if you get to the third Odin cast, you can auto kill Odin by hitting him with lightning damage while he has his sword raised, but you got to last that long, which we can see is quite the problem when he's punching this hard. 2,000 damage on Palom.
See if he gets this Edward hidden. He does. Slippery gets the bad news at the top of the tower that it is not what he's looking for, but...
Now, the good thing here for Pankraz is that he did manage to hide that Edward, so he's just waiting. There's the second Odin, showing the Edward, who has already been illusioned, and now he can queue up the Zeus Rage. There's the sword. There's the Zeus Rage. Very well done by Pankraz.
Yeah, definitely a great strat to get rid of that Odin using Edward, so good on him. We'll see what he's rewarded with here. It is the Darkness Crystal.
You gotta love required Odin at Leviathan. You love to see it.
That does officially put Pankraz into go mode. He needs to go fight that Ribbon Room boss, get the levels he needs for whatever strategy he's going to use here.
And even better, has the pass in hand, so he has the option to either go to Zaruma straight from the Ribbon Room or to come back to Earth and go from Troya in the case of a wipe.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see because, as I mentioned earlier, Pankraz did skip that Eblon item shop, so he doesn't really have access to the low-level strats using vampires. He could use some other item, but... or the crystal itself, so... Be interesting to see what his decision is come to the moon, what the character is up here as well, that's been hiding away from our teams for an hour and 10 minutes now.
Yeah, and the good thing for Pankraz here is we know that Pankraz is pretty solidly in the lead, and there's no routing decisions he could make now that would cause Slippery to be able to make up time, because Pankraz doesn't have to check anywhere now except the Ribbon Room.
True. Looks like he's heading back to Baron. There was Starvales in the item shop here. Might be what he's looking for, but we'll see what he's going for here. Maybe trying to set up the Mac Giant grind?
Yeah, we had a question in chat about 10 key items. Of course, you do double your experience at 10, but Pankraz would have to hunt for 2 because although the pass is on the tracker, it doesn't actually count as a key item when it comes to your 10 key item count. So he's only actually got 8. Hunting for 2, I think, would be a liability at this point, and that's why we are now seeing him at Baron, setting up the manipulation to get what I have got to expect will be a Mac Giant fight.
He does actually have 9. that count without the pass, but still trying to find that one more. At this point, he needs a moon boss and them to have something for him.
Oh, for some reason I missed that package there. That's right.
Looks like Slippery about to get the news that this tower only has a pass. So access to the final boss, but not what he's looking for at this point in time.
Yeah, the interesting thing here is that the more popular grinding location would be for D machines, which are also in the Giant of Babil. But you need weak to do D machines effectively, and we still don't have Tella. So Pankraz will be getting into a very similar battle. It's still going to be a searcher, but it's going to be summoning Mac Giants instead of D machines. And the thing with Mac Giants is they have way lower HP than D machines, so you can kill them faster, and they are racially giants. So anything that deals extra damage to giants is going to deal extra damage to Mac Giants.
Like that Ogre Axe.
Yeah, and racial damage bonuses are nothing to scoff at in Final Fantasy IV. They deal quadruple damage.
Yeah, so with the Zeus Gauntlet and the Ogre Axe, a decent setup for Cecil. Like, he has a good setup for the Mac Giants here. So we'll see how well he can pull it off and what levels he actually goes to.
Yeah, so what Pankraz will be looking for here, because the Threemus fight is heavily slanted towards mages, is he definitely wants to get nuke on both Palums. That's kind of the magic number that he's looking for, but he also doesn't want his Cecil to be at too bad of an agility level. Thankfully, he does have the Curse Ring, which helps fix that a bit, so he doesn't have to be overly careful with the Cecil.
I mean, yeah, with Zeus Gauntlet, you don't really need the Blink. Also, he doesn't have access to Blink. He has no White Mage. He has no Tella. He has, I believe, a couple of illusions left, but...
Yeah, and the good thing is, just like the D-Machine fight, you have to hit the Searcher for it to summon the next Mac Giant, which means we got Palums. We can bluff all day, and if you bluff enough, you can one-shot some Mac Giants. This is pretty exciting for me because this is actually the first match in the tournament that I found where they had to resort to Mac Giants, and this is the fight. There we go. Single Searcher.
Slippery had a little bit more trouble with some of the earlier spots. Pankraz actually picked up the double Palom, which gave him access to Twin Spell, which got him through some of the early fights. He also then found a single Siren in a chest in the Famouch cave, which allowed him to skyrocket his Palom, both of his Paloms to Quake immediately, which gave him another nice advantage.
And we see Pankraz still making great use of auto cover for Cecil. The three characters in the front row are in critical HP, so Cecil will automatically cover physical hits from them. Mac Giants do physical hits, so... And as mentioned in chat, that Zeus Gauntlet actually gives protection from Giants, so Cecil will be doing some work here for the party, even though he doesn't have his great Holy Swords with him.
Slipper getting the news that the boss down here in the Luca cave is actually just the water hag, so going to be able to take him out. Not too hard. Did miss with the Lydia, but got a virus out, and his Sid should be able to live through a hit or two. Even his back row characters don't need that much.
I'm almost offended that Slippery's Edward is named Artanis. I really like Artanis in StarCraft, but I don't like Edward. And actually, the water hag is the same color as Artanis, now that I think about it. It's the things you think about sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Slippery still has not picked up his final character. We do know he now needs to get through that Odin fight at some point in order to get his Darkness Crystal. Unless the only other option is that the package holds Mist Dragon. Mist Dragon has the Baron key, and Baron has both pieces of the Legend Sword.
Yeah, the odds of that would be astronomical, but it would make for an exciting race. Of course, with no access to either the Moon or the Giant of Babel, Slippery's EXP options would pretty much be limited to these trapdoors in Luca in the Seal Cave.
Yeah, definitely not as good as one of these infinite renewable sources that you get access to in the Giant. Maybe that should be a future flag. Make searchers only ever summon one thing.
Oof. Hashtag feedback and ideas.
Give him an MP value, make it cost MP, and they can only ever do it once. And we do see Slippery using that package. Gonna go take a look. It is the 4th Iridia of the Seed.
Wow,
It looks
4 Iridias available in the Seed, and FF4FE doesn't have a single one in his party.
It looks like Slippery's not gonna take the time to go through to see if that could be the Mist Dragon. It looks like he's gonna take these free checks here that he hasn't done to this point. I believe this one is D-Lunars, if I recall correctly. No, this one's tokens. The other one is D-Lunars.
Oof, yeah. You can see Slippery right now is just hoping for anything that's not having to fight those Fey March bosses.
Yeah, he now does have that bad news that is pretty much what he's looking at right now. We'll see how he decides to go about them, as we saw FF4FE go about them before, but he does need to get through that Odin to get that Darkness Crystal. That is basically the daunting task ahead of him at this point. I forget exactly how much experience the Mac Giants give you. I know it is less than D-Machines, but I mean, it is the available grind that FF4FE has with his current party, so.
Yeah, and he's doing it pretty well. He's making this look just as easy as the D-Machine grind, when this is actually a lot harder of a fight to set up. Like, D-Machines can be very dangerous, but Mac Giants have like a less scripted encounter, because depending on how much damage your party's dealing, you might need 2 or 3 or 4 hits for each one. And if you accidentally summon the next one before you're ready, it can kind of throw you off track.
Yeah, but it looks like the bluffed up Palams and the Cecil with basically the giant killer set is making pretty quick work of these. So consistently 3-hitting these giants, getting that life off, using the Edward to punch the Searcher out.
Yeah, you love to see it. Meanwhile, Slippery's showing off the Iridia is helping him out here. Managed to get Leviathan off on that Mylon portion. Sid swinging for 4,000. The Rune Axe actually deals extra damage to Rubicon in the Elements battle. He counts as a mage in that battle only. Has gotten to the Kanazo phase. Ice 3 out. Has everything lined up. And now going to be pushing to the Valvalis phase soon. And unable to skip the phase like FF4FE did.
Yeah, it looks like he's just using more consistent damage to get through these phases quickly. Each one in this spot doesn't have the most amount of health. Does lose his Iridia here. Gonna try and get it up with Sid.
Yeah, it's pretty important for Slippery here that the characters that he's actually going to be using for his Romans get experience. The Fey March bosses have great chunks of experience, and he needs every bit he can get at this point in order to stay gaining on FF4FE.
Yeah, it does look like FF4FE has decided he has grown enough, is killing off that Cecil, does not want him to get the giant infusion of experience, making his agility kind of go to a crazy level. Stops that Socho and is going to be taking care of it now.
Slippery just received the bad news that Odin is pretty much required.
That's a cool 700,000 experience for Pankraz here. We'll be getting another infusion of, I guess, 100k from the Ribbon Room, as he only has the 9 key items.
Oh, the Palams don't quite get nuke for Pankraz, so they will get it from the Ribbon Room, but it would have been nice if they got it now to make that Ribbon Room faster.
Yeah, 1 or 2 more would have been nice to get them. I don't know if he miscounted or wasn't quite sure how many he exactly needed, but I mean, he still has a pretty decently leveled edge here that he's going to be able to put all of this damaging equipment back on, and then be able to take out that room. Hopefully, it's nothing too bad.
Yeah, we should note that Dragoon armor actually gives elemental resistance, which, when paired with the Curse Ring, actually means Cecil can't get damaged by elemental damage right now.
Yeah, Slippery finding out the news that Odin is not that easy. We'll see if he comes out with the Eddie strats here. I'm not sure if he was trying to set them up, but see if he can do what Pankraz did and get those Eddie strats out to make quick work of them.
Yeah, I know he does have illusions, so as long as Edward doesn't get sniped, he should be able to get one on him and get him out of there. Oh, and just as I was saying, down goes Edward.
See, he's going to try and life him up here and still get him out. Pretty much needs his turn to come up immediately so he can get him out of there, because that the Odin special is not going to be friendly to this bounty.
Uh-oh. Slippery is hiding Edward, but he doesn't have the illusion yet. So he's going to have to get very lucky or have way better timing than Pankraz did when he unhides him in order to make sure that he doesn't get nailed before he can throw that lightning item.
We finally get to see the Moon character. It is just a cane. So we were giving a plethora of black mages and then a smattering of like each of the melee characters. And, some Edwards.
Oof. So that's confirmation. If there's a white mage or a Tela in the seed, they're in the Giant of Battle, which is oof.
Yeah, that's definitely rough, and we do see Slippery not able to get off the kill here on Odin.
Yeah, because he didn't have the blink on Edward, he had to wait until Odin did the physical hits in order to unhide Edward, and it just wasn't enough time to throw the item before the Odin actually came out.
Yeah, at this point in time, this is Pankraz's race to lose. He's in go mode. He's done his leveling. He just needs to take out this one boss spot, and he'll get his crystal. Whereas Slippery struggled a little more with the pouty composition he took. Has still done a great job getting through everything. It's just having trouble with that Odin, getting that strategy off. We'll see if maybe he picks up another character. Looks like he's going to turn in the pink tail to see if that gives him anything useful here.
Yeah, I think he's pretty desperate at this point to not have to fill his last party spot, because he's really, it seems like, wanting to slingshot somebody. Gets an Avenger sword. That may lead him to actually take Cecil. I don't know.
There is a possibility. We'll see what he decides to do, if he's going to go pick up a character or maybe try and get some levels in the Luca cave with doors. We'll see.
To be honest, if anything, the extra character means more targets for Odin to punch at.
It's a Mist Dragon check. He's checking for the Mist Dragon. He's doing it.
Evil Wall burning down Village Mist here.
We do see a Mega System fight. So not the worst fight in the world that you didn't get nuke for. Having access to these quakes is very handy for this fight, as it does get through that wall.
Yeah, like we said earlier, we've seen most of the nasty bosses, and we've also seen all of the free bosses. So the moon was never going to be super easy, but it probably wasn't going to be super bad either.
Oh yeah, he does also have a mute dagger and a charm claw, I believe, or a double mute dagger on that Edward. So that's doing, it did 8,000 damage. Yeah, I believe this is a desperate Threemus check in Kaipo Inn.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we know the Darkness Crystal is actually behind Odin, so, Kobahi was right when he said earlier, the only way this can work out for Slippery is if Baron Castle has both the Legend Sword and the Adamant Rock. But even then, I don't know how Slippery's going to get levels.
Yeah, like this would have to give him either the Twin Harp into the Baron Key, or just the Baron Key and have the Baron Castle have both of them. And then find a way to level or do low-level strats. He does know where the vampires are. But Objective 2 has been completed by Pankraz. He is receiving his crystal. He is in go mode. He is leveled up.
Meanwhile, Slippery is about to get the letdown. It's just Dark Knight, Cecil, and the Kaipo Inn. This is it. Slippery now knows that Odin is required, and there's no choice. He's got to figure out a way to get through it.
Yeah, and as Chad's pointed out, Pankraz is going with the swag walk, not even saving after that Mega Sister fight. So just gonna head straight down to Threemus. Which, wait, sheep, what are these flags? Oh no.
We're seeing some blue flags in chat.
Is it sleep time? Is that what that means?
I do believe chat is indicating that they would like us to use a certain phrase to refer to the randomized nature of the appearance of the final boss.
That is correct, yeah. In the randomizer, we randomize bosses and where they are. Unfortunately, due to the complexities, Threemus can't really be moved. Or not easily. So he's left in the spot. But with this magical Z flag, we do have a randomized fight. And in the community, we like to ask a question when we get here. Would you like to do the honors, Motas?
Yeah, I believe it's whose butt are we gonna kick tonight?
That is correct. Yeah. Thanks to Boardface, Skullakitty, we have 450 plus different sprites this Threemus can be once a crystal has been thrown at him. So we'll get to see which random one we get today, if it's one we've seen before or a new one that we haven't seen.
That's right, here goes. Pankraz is turning up the turn order he wants, bluffing the Palums here, which is completely free and is one of the only quote-unquote buffs that's not removed by Threemus before the second phase starts, because it's actually a stat change, not a status effect. His true colors are emerging.
You get Genimus.
I dig the design of this sprite for sure.
Skullakitty put in it is a Darkstalker's character or boss or something. Yeah, not one I'm familiar with. I don't know if I've seen this one before either, so always fun to see new bosses. And yeah, we immediately start seeing some nukes flying off of a walled Edward.
Oof, Slippery still just a little late with unhiding Edward again. Had managed to get to the third Odin, and even had the item queued up, but the Odin was queued up as well already.
Yeah, just having some troubles with the timing here. I mean, it's not the easiest thing in the world to pull off. But we'll see if he can get it here and how this fight continues here for Pankraz. I mean, at this point, it's his race to lose. He's already silk webbed to nerf this first big bang that's going to come out and just launch in to like 8.5 to 9,000 damage nukes at this Threemus.
Yeah, Zeromus actually has a surprisingly low amount of HP as long as you're relying on reflected damage to get him. The game has a limitation for the amount of HP it can have, so in longer boss fights, like the elements and like Zeromus, it actually refills the HP of the enemy at a certain point with a counterattack script, but counterattacks aren't activated by reflected spells. So you can essentially cut Zeromus' health pool in half by using reflect strats on him.
It's been quite the strat that's been around for quite a while now, and it's just taking advantage of the scripts in the game to cut down the amount of damage you need to do. Yeah, as we can see, using those Cure 3s, getting his characters, more specifically his Black Mages here, healed up so that they can keep throwing out those nukes. But I feel like Zeromus is not long for this world with these double, almost like quad damage, quad 9 nukes coming out.
Yeah, we can see FF4FE doesn't really expect to see another Big Bang because he used the Starvale on Edward, who can't really survive any sort of full rolled Big Bang. In fact, the only party member he's got who can survive a full rolled Big Bang is Edge. So he's either hoping to nuke a second Big Bang or nerf a second Big Bang if it happens, or not see it in the first place. Oh, doesn't even have to worry about it. There we go. That's GG's to FF4FE.
Yeah, so FF4FE does take this race. This is a best of 3, so Slippery will have a chance to come back in the next batch, but FF4FE does finish with a time of 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 53 seconds. So
that's pretty good for a seed that saw us pretty much full clear everything we could find on Earth and end up having to get funneled to that nasty Odin at Leviathan.
Definitely. It seems like we're going to get FF4FE in here for an interview to see what his thoughts are on that race and that seed. And, joined by FF4FE. GG on your race win in the first match of your best of 3.
Oh, thank you very much.
I think it would be a mistake for us to not mention right off the bat both how perfectly your Mac Giant grind went and how nicely timed you did that Odin fight.
Well, yeah, that Mac Giant one was probably one of the better ones I've had, at least in a while. Like, the agility was basically set up right. I was consistently getting the 3-hit kills with the life potion. I got lucky with Palom not getting hit at the end when I had to elixir him. It was great. And with the Odin, I've had a few, what are they called? Odins at Rubicant in a handful of my practice seeds, which has forced me to learn some Thunderstruck, and I'm glad that I managed to get it right on the first try here.
No, it's definitely good use of that. We also found it like nice taking the Cecil for the elements fight. I mean, was it more the agility thing, or I guess him being a defensive stalwart in the back row for that, or
a little bit of both. I mean, at that point, I was already planning to take Cecil as my 5th to do a little bit of a Mac Giant grind. I had the Zeus Gauntlet, so I know that would go pretty swimmingly. It was just a matter of, do I take him now and let him gain XP and possibly ruin the agility situation, or do I grab him right before the grind to minimize that chance? And with elements being extremely punchy and rude, I figured that I would probably just grab him now, and I had enough defensive armor to probably be able to cover strat and stop elements from punching my Paloms over and over, and it managed to work out.
Yeah, it's very nice. I mean, the seed wasn't trying to give you a lot of the nice to have things like a white mage or a Tella, so you did a lot of great management of what you did have available.
I mean, I had Edge. He's basically a white mage.
Speaking of that, how like relieved were you to have that Edge, especially when the Valvul showed up right after that?
Pretty relieved and very happy I took him. I went up Zot looking for a cane to use that defense sword I had, and figured, an Edge would probably work too with this Power Shirt and Zeus Gauntlet I've got lying around. I see him and I'm like, okay, great, you're on the team, and I couldn't have been happier to have him on the team when Val appeared. I knew she's unnukeable there, but I think that's the bugged spot so that she has 0 physical defense and evade, so he was perfect to just smack her down.
As a quick note, we finally do see Slippery getting the Edward Thunderstruck strat off on Odin. Has been stuck on that for quite a bit of time. He's been a little bit behind you this entire race. He didn't take the second Palom, which you saw you take great use of for a bunch of twin strats, and then also finding that Siren in the Feymarch cave to give you a nice boosted experience for Double Quake.
Yeah, that Siren was a great pickup. I'm guessing that Slippery took the Rydia then?
He kept 3 characters until he did Earth Crystal, and then he picked up one of the Rydias there.
Okay. I had been thinking about Rydia as soon as I found that Sylph summon in the first chest in Watery Pass, but with the Palom as the second starting character, I thought, okay, let's do a couple more checks first, because I can either use Twin as my early in-game damage, or I can use Sylph as an early game damage dealer. And I'd much prefer Twin, because that means I get 2 Paloms, and we'll have 2 Paloms going into the end game. The Siren at the end was just gravy, especially since I then had the Luca key, I think, from the Feymarch freebie. So if I didn't have that, I know that I could have done a quick door and gotten Quake on them that way.
Yeah, the Luca key actually came from the Sylphs from that pan you got right away.
Ah, gotcha.
But yeah, you made great use of those twins, using the bluff strat on one to twin into the other for extra damage, getting you through a lot of those earlier checks with very minimal problems.
Oh yeah, I mean, 2 Quakes will do that. As will 2 viruses or 2 anythings with 2 Paloms. Twin makes things pretty easy, or not easy, but straightforward, at least for those few first early bosses, where all of them have about 2,000 HP or less, and 1 bluff Twin can usually take them out.
Yeah, I think sadly Slippery's about to get the bad news that this is a Teleless / White Mageless seed, minus maybe doing the full giant, with the Cane on the moon.
Yeah, Kane on the moon couldn't have appeared like 30 minutes earlier to use my defense sword. I'd have appreciated it.
Well, I know it's probably got to feel great to get a win under your belt so early here in the round of 16. Now, of course, we are at the best of 3 phase now, so you will get another match with Slippery coming up. You are at the advantage now, so you may only have to fight Slippery one more time. But looking forward, let's say you do get another win on Slippery. Who would be the opponent you'd like to see in the next round of the bracket?
Neither of them. I mean, Penguinator and Baka are both fantastic runners, and I know that no matter which one of them advance into the next round, it's going to be a challenge, to say the least, if I want to keep going in the tournament.
Yeah, I think your division is quite scary, in my opinion. Could be the scariest one. The Darkness Crystal group, of course. All of the top 4 seeds were very bold with their choices as far as who they made themselves fight in the first round. But of course, that means if you advance, whoever you are going to have to go against will also be similarly scary.
Well, I hope that they think I'm at least a little scary too, but not too scary.
I mean, you still made it into the top 16, so anyone who's made it this far has the potential to go all the way. It just matters how they play and what the game gives them.
Very true. Like in this seed in particular, like with that, like Slippery and I had talked a little bit with our scheduling, and he had wanted like a day or 2 in order to practice some eddy strats, whether that's for Z or for thunder striking. And it's unlucky, to say the least, that this seed was a good example, or what's the word I'm looking for? The prime seed in order to put those into practice.
Yeah, being forced into an Edward right away, not giving any healers, not giving, like, you didn't even have access to blink or anything. Like, you eventually found, I think you found illusions right after the elements fight.
Yeah, like I thought, like I had 2 options: either I grab Cecil now or I go hunting for illusions. And I thought I'll just take the Cecil now, and then I ended up needing to find the illusions anyway. So.
And thank you for also giving us that post-game music check. Looks like it was Game from Ice Hockey for the NES, if I'm not mistaken.
I think gotta give chat some music and myself some music after that, so good time to wind down.
Yeah, the 15-minute delay before we get to bring you in for the interviews is definitely helpful in that regard. It means you can actually think about your match before we start probing you with questions.
Yeah, a little bit of time to breathe, to think about, what I did well, what I did wrong, grab some water, etc.
Cool. Well, thank you for coming on to the restream tonight here on Randomania 2. Anything else you want to say about this match or your upcoming rematch versus Slippery before we let you go?
No, I think your questions have mostly covered it. Our match is tomorrow night, so we'll see if that one, same time as this one, so we'll see if that one's also restreamed or what. Until then, thank all of you for the broadcast, Smapety for the great seed, Motas and Kobahi on comms. I'm looking forward to watching it back, and of course, Aegis doing the tracking.
Well, thank you.
Thank you again, and good luck.
Thank you. You guys have a good rest of the night.
Back to the action here. We see Slippery has not grinded and has actually just went straight to the ribbon room to fight this Magus Sisters. I can't say I blame him. I would be very impatient here after the amount of tries on Odin to at least get the knowledge of what's up here awaiting me out of the way.
Yeah, definitely he wants to he does have that pass, so like whatever option he does use for grinding, he still has a 5th character to pick up, so we'll see what he ends up doing after this point. Yeah, definitely a little more of a challenge here, not having those two, level 51 quaking Palums. Is using that Leviathan, and he does have 1 quake, but these spells are hitting pretty hard on his low health team.
Yeah, he's got a few up here, and luckily there goes Cindy, so that's the danger.
Yeah, see if he can get through the rest of this fight. Ooh, that Fire One barely keeping Sid alive there. The charm actually reflecting off of Rydia, and this Leviathan cast may be the end of it here.
Yeah, those were some lucky events there that saved Slippery, and Sandy now out of the way. Mindy is actually the least threatening one, even though she's the one that does all the offense.
Yeah, I mean, if you can life up your Pody here, that could be really bad. So Mindy actually has a wall on her right now.
Oof.
Hopefully wait, I don't think I've ever seen Mindy cast Venom.
Yeah, this is a little known fact. All 3 of the Magus Sisters have special abilities that they only use when they're the last sister remaining. It just so happens that Mindy has the least HP, and also she's usually not the last one left, so you hardly ever see her use the Venom. Same thing as Cindy uses Charm. She only uses, Sandy uses Charm. She only uses it when Cindy is already dead.
Yeah, I've seen the charm a lot. Luckily, this Palom has the defensive gear to only take 1 damage, or 8. So a very low amount of damage from all these level 1 spells that Mindy's throwing out, and should hopefully be going down to this Quake and finishing the fight for Slippery here, getting him his crystal.
I'm waiting for a really badly timed HP ran out.
Mindy goes down. So the Slippery he didn't level, still got through that fight, has completed his objective 2, gotten the crystal, and is now has to decide who to round out his party with and defeat the final boss with. We could even see low-level strats still.
Yeah, I mean, Slippery would have liked to get some experience on some more characters on that, but with 1 more character slot still open, you gotta think he's hoping to slingshot somebody, and it looks like he has now saved and is checking what the boss is at this other spot. Might just be using moon bosses for experience, but in that case, I don't know why you don't want to take your fifth character.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. See what he actually decides to do here. Looks like it might be starting to warp out of the moon. Gonna pick up that fifth character. Maybe we'll see if he uses, doors, if he uses just moon fights, moon bosses, what he's gonna do to level up. Maybe he sets up a Mac Giant grind as well.
Oh yeah, did we mention that Exit is a white magic spell? So, yeah, the Lunar Subterrane has many floors. Would have been nice to have Exit here, but the Seed was not trying to give us a white mage today.
And I don't even think I saw exits in any of the shops that were checked either, so... Yeah, having used this warp to get into the Lunar Subterrane does take a little bit more time, but is still effective.
Well, you get that nice Red Wings theme with the warp sound effects going over it.
Yeah, this seed was definitely not the kind of straw runners, which just goes to, like, Pankraz's execution of it was amazing. And even Slippery going through it with what he has and everything, it's not an easy task to get through this, so...
Yeah, I wonder... Mac Giants are still a possibility for Slippery as well, but he may be impatient and not want to set it up. I wouldn't be surprised for us to see a door grind from Slippery.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he takes as a final character here as well. Unless he's going to try and do the Giant now to find a white mage, but I somehow doubt that.
We can see Slippery had turned the flash effects off because of that poison and turned them back on. A lot of players like them to be on so that they can see the Zeromus flash at the end, but otherwise you just have to wait until he crumbles to know that you're through. That used to actually be a flag that you would turn on and off, but Boardface actually by request moved it into an option so that it didn't affect how the seeds are generated.
Yeah, we do get to see not taking any of those melee. I feel like the second Palom is going to come in here, and it looks like that is going to be the choice.
That's a shame. The entire seed putting it off when that second Palom helped Pankraz out so much.
Yeah, definitely a little unfortunate that you put it off all this time only to have it come in at this point, but...
Yeah, so it pretty much seems like Slippery's party, basically like sub-Sid for Cecil, sub-Rydia for another Palom, and we got pretty much what they had. I mean, we got 3 Black Mages for Slippery, so his Zeromus fight should go quite swimmingly once he gets there.
Yeah, he also does have the key items for that double experience, so his grind, once he sets it up, should be hopefully a little faster. Won't have to kill as many of these Mac Giants that I assume he's going for at this point.
Yeah, looks like there's the save and the reset to start this manipulation here. And you can see every player does that. It's very interesting to see because you have to count your steps between these battles, and I love to see like where different players park the whale and also where they decide to walk to set this up. Everybody does it slightly differently.
Everyone has their own little tricks for being able to count where it is. Looks like that number was the exact one he wanted, so going after the Giant immediately here.
Nice, nice. Of course, you don't know it's a win until you see the battle. We have had some matches where things went a little sideways and the runner got the wrong fight. for those of you familiar with vanilla Final Fantasy IV, you can thank Boardface for very much shortening that cutscene as well to enter the giants.
Used to be a good place to go grab a drink. That turning encounters on. Let's see, we do have a searcher. Let's see, gonna get, looks like a bluff off on his one palom that does have the levels.
Yeah, the thing about the Mac Giant fight, it's a little bit nicer because you get earlier confirmation that you've found the correct fight. The D Machine fight is a searcher and 2 beamers, and there are 2 fights that have that initial setup. One of them summons D Machines, and one of them summons Horsemen, and you really don't want the Horsemen.
One of the downsides for Slippery here is he doesn't have, the super defense, take no damage Cecil. So he's looks like he's using some stop strategies to limit the damage here. So might take a little longer than Pankraz for each individual one, though he is getting double the experience that Pankraz was.
Yeah, and still showing off the life glitches. We didn't really explain that when Pankraz was doing his grind. I think this deep in the tournament, we made an assumption that a lot of people just already know, but in case you don't, in Final Fantasy IV, there's no vitality stat programmed for enemies, and that stat is how the game determines how much HP you come back to life with when a life potion is used on you. So essentially that means when you use life potions on a dead enemy, they come back to life, but they immediately die again because they have 0 HP. And you can't target dead enemies, so basically it's a timing issue. You have to throw the life potion at them while they're still alive, and then it has to hit them once they're already dead.
Yeah, it's definitely something that's been around since vanilla days, so something that's lived along. We do have the option to turn it off now with the randomizer, though it is a very, very liked flag and used pretty commonly.
Yeah, it's a pretty heads up here for Slippery to get Blink on Sid, just in case if things go really south, he can keep Sid alive long enough to get rid of whatever giant is out at the current time, and then be able to, a big hit there on the searcher. You kind of want to use your low attacks on the searcher, because if you accidentally kill it too early, you have to set up the grind all over again, because this manipulation only works for one battle. Once you've done one battle, it's done. You have to manipulate it again.
Yeah, as Paladin Mage just pointed out in chat, it is possible to do this with life spells as well. In fact, it is possible to do it with life 2, which does actually fully revive the monster. So, like, if you have very limited ways or don't have a way to actually force a fight or something like that, you can actually bring a monster back as many times as you can get that life 2 off on them.
Yeah, and I mean, if we didn't have this option of these infinite grind fights, that could be something we would see. The unfortunate thing is that if you have life 2 on your white mages, then you pretty much have no reason to grind anymore in the first place, because life 2 is like one of the final spells that white mages get. Like, I think they get it right before they get holy.
Yeah, I think it's another one of those Fusoya/Tella strategy things that come into play in some seeds or other. The other scene, well, it looks like a Sylph to proc that one and also get some healing up here.
Yeah, the important thing here is that Slippery has 2 objectives, actually maybe 3 objectives in this fight. He wants to, once again, just like Pankraz, get the Paloms to nuke, which actually the newer Palom is going to end up a higher level than the Palom he's had the whole game, just because when your 5 levels are lower on average than the rest of the party, you get double experience. So we already get double experience for 10 key items, so the new Palom is actually going to get quadruple experience from this fight, and it's actually going to put him to be the highest level party member once this is done. So we're looking for that nuke. And secondly, we really don't want Edward to get experience from this fight, because Edward is in the middle slot. He's going to be being used as the agility anchor, so we really don't... He's pretty useless in the Z fight anyways, even if you level him. So we don't really want him to gain any more stats, which is why he's going to be remaining right there on the ground through the end of the fight.
So we'll see how many... I think Rydia takes a little more experience to get the nuke. But, I don't know. With enough Mac Giants, it's going to be Nuke City on Threemus. The Sid's going to probably have 5,000 health. He'll probably be the Star Veil target. We do have the backup of the Ashra on that Rydia too, once he does get to Threemus, so... See how many more of these he does decide to do. It looks like he's throwing that stop on the Searcher. Has decided that I have done enough Mac Giants.
Yep, but there we go. We'll see the top Palom will definitely be getting nuked from this battle. We'll have to see if the bottom Palom gets nuked as well.
Let's see, so over 1 million experience. There's Quake, Stone, Weak, Fatal, Nuke on Rydia. This is the bottom Palom, Weak, Meteo, Nuke. 20 levels for Sid, and 54 levels. So we do have a level 64 immediately for that new Palom.
Oof, you love to see it. Those are going to be some sick nukes coming out.
I believe he found a silver and a gold apple in this seed too, which he fed both of those to Rydia, so she's gonna have a little more health. She's almost hitting that 2,000 mark at level 52. Yeah, this is gonna be probably a pretty quick Threemus fight as well. I guess he's gonna take the whale directly up here. Using that pass that we found from the Tarot Key a while ago while on that hunt for the Darkness Crystal.
Yeah, I mean, like we said earlier, Slippery has one more Black Mage than Pankraz has, so this actually puts him in a really good position for Threemus. With 3 mages doing nuke, your chances to see a second Big Bang actually get pretty low. If you have 4 nukers, you're pretty much not going to see a second Big Bang.
And see, he doesn't have the greatest equipment for the second Palom, but I mean, with the levels he has, there's a Guy Robe, there's an Elven Bow, a Diamond Ring, sure. I mean, that's a 2,600 life, level 64 Palom.
Yeah, you don't see a Palom who can survive a fully rolled Big Bang too often, but here's one right here.
Using that pass, heading into this teleport to the last boss that has conveniently been put here. Yeah, Eddie's doing what he was meant to in this seed. First off, he's in the party. I mean, he did get us past Odin in both races, so he did have his use. But when it comes to the final boss, if you don't have a spoon flag or some ridiculously over-leveled Edward or ridiculously under-leveled Edward for a really long fight,
Yeah, here we go. So just like Pankraz, we're going to be seeing reflected nukes dealing the lion's share of the damage. Edward and Sid are only existing now to throw Cure 3 potions, basically.
I mean, I don't even know if he really needs to do that. I mean, Sid's probably going to put up a Star Veil. Somebody's going to throw a Silk Web.
Yeah, we mentioned the Silk Web way back when Slippery bought some, but here in the Zeromus fight, you'd be surprised what a difference that 2 stacks of slow makes on Zeromus as far as how many big bangs you actually get hit with, which is key for this mage party.
See, just because there's a bluff on that lower Palom, there's a bluff on both Paloms. See who he decides to throw the Star Veil with. My guess is it might be Edward when it gets back to his stone, if he gets on the 1 here.
Yeah, Sid's a great target here for the Star Veil because his high HP means he can actually take 2 big bangs before you have to heal him, which is important because, well, we don't have a white mage anyways, but usually it would be because he wouldn't be getting healed by your full party Cure 4s because it'd be bouncing off.
Even getting the bonus of that counter nuke going on the Star Veiled Sid. So gonna get another, 1700 damage here out of Zeromus, just, choosing the right target.
Well, and even more important, it doesn't put one of the mages at low HP and to potentially get sniped by a big bang.
As you can see, just loading up these nukes. Here comes the first big bang. We should be just seeing nuke after nuke at this point. I think we got a couple less off than Pankraz did in his first round, just for the sheer the way his characters are lined up. It looks like he's throwing out that Ashura just as a safety precaution here with Rydia.
Hey, you know what doesn't bounce off Reflect? Summons.
But do you get life?
Oof.
He didn't. That is the worst part about. Looks like he's even resurrecting the Edward here for reasons. Maybe just if he gets a turn, hide him as the ultimate backup strategy.
We've had some matches where Edward actually was the MVP and did the whole Zeromus fight himself, but you need some items to kind of enable that. We saw Star Veils, ideally vampires as well, but that's not the way to get him. It's a long fight, and the reflect strats are definitely way faster.
Yeah, we can see the immense amount of damage coming out from 3 nuke casters here is pretty insane.
Yeah, I don't think this Zeromus is long for the world, especially with this level 60-something Palom throwing out the 9,000 damages at once. Oh, we got the quad 9s for the finish. Nice.
And there we go. Slippery finishing second with a time of 2 hours, 5 minutes, 9 seconds. Still an amazingly run seed considering what the seed had to offer.
For sure, and we are already joined by Slippery here in the commentator's booth.
Ahoy!
So Slippery, this was the first question I had for Pankraz, and I can't skip it for you. Required Odin at Leviathan.
Yeah, that was pretty rude. I think the second time I've encountered a really rude place to find Odin in this tournament. I think during the previous round in my match against, I think it was Aizen Tayama, we had him at Rubicante, and not as strong of a party as I would hope to take him down either. But that was my first time doing the Thor Rage strat on Odin, so yay for learning during tournament.
Well, yeah, and we saw a couple of times your Edward just wasn't fast enough. You had the item queued up already and everything, and just barely missed it by like an ATB tick or two.
Yeah, and Pankraz and I were chatting about this, after I finished during the stream delay here, and it turns out, like, yeah, I had some illusions in my back pocket, and it totally slipped my mind to use them. I think it would have made the, it's already a pretty tight window because that spot's fairly fast, but getting the timing just right between when Odin's one swing happens and when he queues up the Zantetsuken. Because you don't see the animation when Edward's hiding, is really tricky.
Yeah, I did notice that you had bought 4 illusions earlier, so that is what Pankraz ended up doing there, just unhid Edward as soon as the second Odin went off because he already had the illusion on.
Yeah. So that's the difference between a runner like Pankraz and a runner like me, so...
Yeah, one other thing we saw from you is you didn't take the early second Palom, which Pankraz used to great effect with some twin magics on some of those early bosses. We did see you pick up the Sid pretty early. I'm guessing you're going to mostly use him to get through some of those early spots. Had him in a little trouble in a couple spots with some of your character choices, it seemed.
Yeah, I mean, there was... That was a pretty cruel seed in terms of where the characters were laid out, because apparently there was a white mage. I think it was that a Porum in the Sand Ruby bed that I saw? I couldn't really tell from the color.
Another Palom, because of you can tell by the way the hair goes, and I think to the right is another Palom and to the left is Porum.
Yeah, like I always go based on the shirt color because lime for the L in Palom's name.
If it makes you feel any better, the Sand Ruby was at Golbez at Bahamut, so...
Okay, yeah, well, that's the way it goes sometimes. But yeah, I was holding out for a white mage that whole time, and then, yeah, I took the Sid to make the early game a little easier. Like, Kane and Yang are both tempting in that I think they're a little stronger late game. And, I mean, we already had kind of dead weight on the team with Edwards, so... yeah, I kind of figured Curse Ring would go on him, so, Sid's utility as an anchor is a little bit lower.
Yeah, I mean, the seed was definitely not kind to either player. I mean, some of the niceties that you expect the seed to get through some of the things were not readily available to the players, so you kind of had to slog your way through pretty much everything on the overworld you were given in order to figure out where you needed to go.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping for like a good D-Mist hunt or something. That wasn't.
I was excited that you checked the package to see if D-Mist was there. I was hoping for a D-Mist as well. I don't believe we ever saw it, so it's probably somewhere on the moon or in Baron. Yeah, I mean, you do have. I think it's tomorrow. You said, Pankraz said you have your rematch for your 2 out of 3 series here. So, looking forward to maybe a easier seed, or.
Yeah, well, at least a seed that's a little bit more normal. I've been getting a lot of really weird seeds during this tournament, so. So yeah, it's a normal one would be pretty delightful, but also one where I'm, maybe able to take a game off Pankraz too.
Yeah, that'll definitely be exciting to see. I'm looking at it now. Yeah, 9 p.m. tomorrow on Randomania is your rematch with Pankraz. So
maybe dock a point off of a lot of brackets who think this round will go 2-0 against me. So here's hoping.
Well, thank you for coming on the restream tonight. We do appreciate it. It was a great match, and good to see you kind of have to figure out some more unique strategies when the seed puts you up against the wall there.
Yep. Yeah, this whole tournament's really been a learning experience so far. So, even if this round gets me, I'll feel like a better player because of it.
I mean, you've already made it to the round of 16, so you've definitely done a great job so far.
Thanks.
Alrighty, I believe that's going to be it for us tonight. If you are aching for more, we have a plethora of matches coming tomorrow. starting at 7 p.m. on the Free Enterprise channel. Got Dusty Griff versus Invenerable. 8 p.m. on Randomania, a Stone Dingley versus Zilch. 8:30 p.m. on another Randomania, Antidale versus Coffee and Chocobos. 9 p.m. on RPG Limit Break, Dia versus Morpheus. 9 p.m. on Randomania, Slippery versus Pankraz, the rematch. And then 10 p.m. on Free Enterprise, PK 4787 versus Flurry 14.
Yeah, and we are now in the part of the round of 16 where tomorrow's matches will be the beginning of the round of 16 eliminations. So we're gonna see we could see some players knocked out tomorrow. Be sure to tune in for those matches. That's gonna be it for us tonight. Once again, this restream was brought to you by Smapety. Aegis was our tracker, and of course I've been here with my co-commentator Kobahi.
LM Motos giving me that counterpoint on commentary. Looks like we are going to set up a raid here on, I believe, Demeshi, who's doing some sort of rivalry series with Leonhardt. So that should be interesting to see. Do make sure not to spoil any of the races you saw tonight for people that haven't seen them, but been a good night.